Breaking. China's ghosting America. And guess who saw it coming years ago? That's right, Donald J. Trump. Let's be honest. When Trump first said China was playing dirty, half the media acted like he was screaming into a void. Fast forward to now, and surprise, China's frantically pulling away from the US like a toxic ex after getting caught cheating. But this isn't just drama. It's strategic. It's economic. And it's one giant I told you so moment for Trump. It all began with a tweet and ended with $500 billion in tariffs. Picture it, 2018. Trump storms into office like the guy who just found termites in the foundation and starts swinging a hammer. The termites? Chinese trade practices. Intellectual. Property theft. Currency manipulation. Lopsided trade deals. Trump had receipts. And a plan. So what does he do? Slaps on steel and aluminum tariffs. Slams $34 billion worth of Chinese goods. Then another $200 billion. Boom, boom, boom. And when the media screamed, he smirked and said, "This is just phase one." The elites in D.C.? They panicked. The stock market shook. Pundits cried foul. But Americans working in dead towns where factories shut down? They said, finally, someone's doing something.
Do not retaliate and you will be rewarded. So every country in the world who wants to come and negotiate, we are willing to hear you. We're going to go down to a 10% baseline tariff for them, and China will be raised to 125 due to their insistence on escalation.
You can literally see how calm and confident Trump is. This isn't chaos. This is calculated pressure. And just like that, the so-called reckless move turned into China's economic migraine. China hits back with retaliatory tariffs. Boom! Soybeans, tech, steel, all caught in the crossfire. But Trump didn't blink. He doubled down. While CNN cried, "Economic suicide," U.S. jobs slowly crawled back. And China? They started plotting their escape. When Trump closed the front door, China started looking for the fire escape. Behind closed doors, China was scrambling. Officials in Beijing were already worried about rising debt and slowing growth. Now Trump's tariffs? That was the punch. To the gut. The Chinese Communist Party didn't just retaliate. They initiated full-blown damage control. Supply chains were rerouted almost overnight. Manufacturing started shifting to Southeast Asia, Vietnam, Thailand, the Philippines. Chinese. Companies began offshoring to avoid tariffs. Yes, China started outsourcing itself. They also launched a charm offensive, cutting new deals with Europe, Africa, Latin America. Everything to replace the US market. But here's the catch. None of those replacements could match the scale or spending power of the American consumer. This wasn't pivoting. It was economic CPR.
Tonight to the economy and the markets in China now striking back, hiking tariffs on U.S. goods arriving in China to 125%. And tonight here, American farmers worry that China will now turn elsewhere. President Trump saying Chinese President Xi is a good friend, and our Mary Bruce asking the White House today, if they have a good relationship, why doesn't President Trump call President Xi and try to solve this? Here's Mary tonight.
Tonight, for the first time, Chinese President Xi Jinping speaking out on the escalating trade war with the United States.
This wasn't strength. It was a panic punch. Beijing was sweating in silence, hoping the world wouldn't notice. But behind that big response was a silent scream. We weren't ready for this! While China tried to sneak out the back door, Trump's tariffs exposed their dependency on the U.S. like a spotlight at a high school party. If Trump walked on water, CNN would say he can't swim. As Trump escalated the trade war, the media entered full meltdown mode. MSNBC called it economic arson. CNN declared it the end of global trade. The New York Times ran stories with doomsday graphs and sad soybean farmers on the cover. It was less journalism, more melodrama. But here's what they didn't report. Trump's approval ratings among working-class voters were going up. Manufacturing slowly ticked upward. Wall Street groaned, but Main Street was clapping. Meanwhile, journalists at The View dragged him hard. Scott Galloway called him blackout drunk at the wheel of the global economy. And yet, nothing collapsed. The US didn't fall apart. But you know who started to shake? China's middle class.
Hello, and thank you for joining us. The United States and China are refusing to back down as the world's largest economies ramp up tensions on trade. Now, China announced Friday it would raise its retaliatory tariffs on American goods to 125%. The move comes after the Trump administration raised import taxes on some Chinese goods to 145%. Now, despite the back and forth, the White House says President Trump is optimistic he can work out a deal with Beijing, and that may have boosted the markets today.
While the media cried recession, the White House stood firm. You could almost hear Trump in the background going, "Trust the process." Turns out, the stock market wasn't dying. It was just detoxing from decades of China addiction. Twitter became the new battleground, and MAGA wasn't backing down. Public reaction was electric. On one side, liberal Twitter was melting down. Trump's going to kill the economy. This is war. But on the other side, the MAGA crowd was throwing digital high fives. TikTok was full of skits mocking China's sudden factory relocations. Memes flew like confetti. Trump supporters posted videos of empty Walmarts with captions like, "We'll survive." Others joked, "Finally, Americans might learn how to sew again." Even Elon Musk jumped into the conversation. "Decoupling sounds good. Let's build stuff here instead." Even Gen Z is in on it. When memes start lining up with Trump's policies, you know something big is shifting. Turns out the trade war wasn't just headlines, it became pop culture. The experts were terrified, but everyday Americans? A lot of them were nodding in agreement. Spoiler alert, it ain't the guy who fled the room. China's decoupling wasn't a strategy, it was a scramble. They lost US contracts. Their economy slowed. Their factories had to start over in countries with less infrastructure. Meanwhile, American companies slowly pivoted to India, Mexico, even back to the US. Even Bloomberg now admits the trade war had a chilling effect, mostly on China. Trump didn't just start a trade war, he revealed the whole game. The CCP had been bluffing, and now they're left holding a weak hand. They said Trump was reckless. But maybe he was just the only one sober in the room. The truth is, China didn't decouple by choice. They were forced. Trump's economic grenade blew up the cozy status quo. And while the experts were screaming, "A disaster," he was playing chess while everyone else was yelling at the board. So next time someone says Trump ruined our relationship with China, just smile and say, "Yeah, and it's about time." If you enjoyed watching China squirm and Trump strike back, do me a solid, smash that like button, subscribe for more daily political drama, comedy, and truth bombs. And hey, drop a comment. Was Trump right all along? Or are we just getting started? Because we're just warming up. See you in the next one.